Is there a more tactful way, or do you have any sort of, magic lines that you could use to figure out whether they've got the budget for it and whether you're talking to the right person who is a decision maker? Like, is there a more subtle way of sneaking in rather than, you know, you're the boss, if not, put him on, please, or put her on, please? Yeah.
Yeah. No, totally. Um, what you've highlighted there, right? And I want to call this out for everyone, right? Sales is science and art, right? Some people argue it's one or the other. My argument is that it's both, right? The science is asking the questions of Bant. The art is the way that you ask the questions of Bant, right? Um, and actually, my mate Pete Van der Merwe that was on the slides earlier, he had this exact question around budget. I was like, "Oh, you got to ask the budget." He was like, "What do you mean? I can't ask them what their budget is. Like, that'll sound like weird and pushy, and like they won't answer that, and all of these sorts of things, right?" And so what I did was I hopped on a call with him. Um, didn't even know the details of his product per se, right? But I understood the commercial outcomes that the client was trying to achieve.
Mhm.
And I said to them, so okay, let's fast forward. You're here today to work out if working with us sort of makes sense for you to solve these types of challenges. Let's say that we were able to solve those challenges, and we'll talk you through the details of how that looks and everything like that. But let's say we were able to, right? In order to solve those challenges, in our experience, it's probably going to cost you a budget of around XYZ.
Mhm.
How does that sit with you? Is that something that you have access to?
Mm. Okay.
Right? Like you can ask the blunt question of like, hey, do you have like what's your budget for this? Right? Sometimes you get an answer, right? And it's a good question to ask if you have the courage to ask it right up front, right? And they go, oh no, we're not really sure, blah, blah, blah. Okay, well, in our experience, in order to solve the problem that you've got, you're probably typically gonna need to spend about blah. Is that something that you have access to? If the answer is no, great. We've just qualified out, wasting both of our time. If
Mhm.
the answer's I'm not sure, orange flag. Let's probe into that, right? Oh, okay. So what were you expecting to sort of invest in solving this type of a problem?